everybody. It's March 19th. It is now 6:30. We're at Pine Bridge Clubhouse on 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard in Fort Myers, Florida, for the Board of Directors meeting. And we're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian? Oh.
Hey, Patrick, you're on speaker. We're in the meeting here, okay? Okay.
Brian, can we have the roll call?
Sharon?
Here.
Bill is absent. Andy?
Here.
Cheryl?
On the phone.
Patrick's on the phone.
Patrick? And Debbie.
Yes. All right. Eric, was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And can I have this is really a kind of a pain here. Can I have a motion to either read the minutes or waive the minutes, the reading of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Okay, Sharon.
Second.
And Andy seconds that. Thank you. And yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Everybody? All right. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, Eric, you want to give us the manager's report, please? Oh, do we have anybody? No, we do that at the end. All right.
So yeah, excuse us with the microphones. Ron has been helping us. We've been working all day to try to get our new sound system up and running. And as you can tell, we weren't able to get it up and running. So we're shooting for next month now. But that's one of the things that we've been working towards here. And I think it will be very good when it's done. There's a lot going on in the community. This past month, we talked about a lot at the last board meeting. Got a lot of things done. Things are set in motion. First thing I want to touch on is we talked about acquiring a condo possibly last month. I assessed the condition of that condo, from the air conditioning to the plumbing to the likely mold and everything else. The return on investment is not what we would have wanted. We would have been almost at a break even on that. So we'll leave it to someone else to buy it and they can fix it up. For somebody that maybe wants it for themselves, it wouldn't be bad, but as a fix and flip, there's no profit really there. So I don't recommend that the board proceed with that one. The big news is, for many people, is that we started our roofing project that we've been working towards for a long time. They're doing a very good job. Very few issues so far. They're looking good, and this is probably going to take another 6 weeks. By the end of April, we should be done with the roofs. And if anybody has any questions about that, please come and see me. If you're one of the ones getting a roof done and you have questions and you want to talk to myself or Les, who's the general manager of the roofing contractor, we'll be happy to talk to you guys. Xfinity is going to be starting to install the fiber optics, and that's going to be talked about later in the meeting, but we've had a lot of meetings about that, and it's going to be very good. We've been working to refresh some areas of landscaping in the community. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We've also been chasing down a lot of irrigation repairs and different things with the irrigation, mainline breaks. And one thing, we have a really good irrigation system electronically. However, the piping that the water goes through is the original piping. So we expect to have a certain number of breaks, but this first part of the year, we had quite a few mainline breaks, and some of you guys are very aware of them because they're near where you live. We also had a water line break underground, almost like underneath a tree over on Lakeside Club Boulevard that was county utility water. And we had to have that repaired. It was on our side of the meter. Fortunately, though, we thought it was irrigation because the meter wasn't spinning to count the gallons of water. And so the county came out. The leak was on our side. However, we weren't charged for any of the water that we lost because the meter was broken also. It was great. So, I don't know, silver lining there. Yeah, it's always interesting when stuff like that happens, right? We're continuing to work to remake the meter room, panel room doors on the side of the building. We're turning them from that T111 stucco into, or T111 wood that rots into stucco with much better doors and hardware. It's taking some time. We've got about a half dozen of them done, but there is 26 in total. So we're making our way through slowly. Work on the dumpster enclosures is going to start in the next week or two. They're working on getting the supplies here delivered, and they'll be starting to try to not interfere with the roofing and the fiber optic stuff. A lot of the fencing is going to be going on over the weekends. They'll be working on Saturdays and maybe a couple of Sundays and Fridays. But as far as not interrupting with the other work is critical. When we have a lot of these big projects going on at the same time, you want to be very careful about scheduling and people not being on top of each other and slowing. You can end up slowing it down versus making it faster. Replacement light poles. I got an update from the electrician yesterday. He said give him about 2 or 3 weeks. I said, well, I got another board meeting a month from tomorrow. Promise me you'll have them in before then, and he promised. So the next month we're going to have our light poles in. Fire alarm inspections. The inspections are complete. We got a list of deficiencies. Then there are some things over and beyond the deficiencies that they found, some stuff that's just antiquated as part of our fire alarms. So we're going to be going through this with them and plan how best to remedy the issues that they found and the issues that we think are there, and get that done. Some of that will be operating costs. Some of that will be reserve costs, depending on what the components are. And I'll have more information on that for you next month, and hopefully it will be completed next month also. The pool pump went out a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you guys heard it, those noisy few days out there at the pool. We replaced it with a brand new Pentair, much better unit, much quieter unit. I know Bruce is very happy with it. And I'm happy to say we're able to get the pump, get the contractor here, have it installed, and the pool was closed 0 days. So that's very good. The Villa courtyard fencing project is complete, the painting, and it looks really good. We also we had a suggestion from someone. The fences around the maintenance shop, they were just thrown up there but never painted or partially painted. So we had the painters go over and paint those all the one color, and it really does make it look a lot nicer over there. So that was a nice thing too, especially for the people that live back towards the maintenance area. One of the next things we'll be looking at is the fiberglass light poles, the ones that are not being replaced or haven't been replaced, that are still okay, that are showing a little bit of wear or the net. We're going to have those painted. So that'll be something I'll be bringing to the board very soon. The paint will protect them from deteriorating any further and prolong their life. New microphone system, we already talked about that. Wink News, that was the big story last month. And and our attorney, Kelsey, I printed out a copy of just the first couple pages of the demand letter that she sent out to Heritage, just so you guys could see the type of correspondence that will be going. This one I thought was funny because it says that I think it says you owe us $6.7 million. You paid us $250,000, so please remit the $6.4 million in 21 days.
Which is March 26th, I marked that down.
Yeah, so I'll be checking the mail on that day. So probably they're not going to follow that demand letter, but that's just the start. And, we'll follow it all the way through. Like she said, they're waiting for people to give up, and we're not going to give up that easy. But Wink News, I want to thank the people who participated in the news story. They did a really good job. We went out on site. We showed them some of the worst condition roofs. I think they got some really good stuff here. It seems like it's an investigative report they've been working on for a while. So I don't have what day it's going to be on yet, but as soon as we know, I'll be sending it out on email and letting everybody know. And I'm sure we'll have it on internet too, that we can watch it. But I think the media pressure will have some effect.
Let's hope so.
I know in the past when we've had media pressure, seems like the next day somebody big from that company comes in and resolves whatever the problem is. So hopefully that happens again. Looking ahead at some of the next big projects that we have coming up that you guys are probably interested in. The main one is going to be refurbishing the pool, renovating and refurbishing the swimming pool. And right now I am working on getting bids and making arrangements for it to be completed sometime in June. So hopefully over the next month, we can get all the numbers together, present them to the board at the meeting, they can vote, and then we can get that scheduled for June. It'll take about a week and a half or 2 weeks for them to do the pool. And then depending on if we're doing the deck at that time, we're working on the plan right now, but just let you know, that's what we're looking at. And the month of June might be the pool closed for certain points in time. And we have anything else that we want to talk about? I think we covered pretty much everything here now, but if anybody has any questions about anything going on in the community or has any issues or concerns that you want to bring to my attention, you can make an appointment anytime and I'll be happy to meet with you. But every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we have the manager roundtable. I'm able to get into things a lot more in depth if you have questions and show you the paperwork and get into detail. And it's a very good meeting. So please, if you have questions and you want to not come down by yourself, you want to be in with a group, it's a very nice meeting, and I encourage everybody to come down because I want to be as transparent as possible with anything that I can do to make sure you guys understand what's happening. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. My chairman's report is actually going to be pretty brief this month. I just want to reiterate something that I did say last month as to the little bit of how we were changing things up, doing the open forum at the end, allowing questions prior to a vote. Now, we're not doing any voting on anything tonight, so we're not going to have anybody come up to speak before the end of the meeting tonight, but you certainly can speak then. And I made the mistake last month of not, and I don't want to use the word enforce, but not reiterating that people need to, that people need to come to the mic and speak when they do have a question, as opposed to sitting from the back, because we know some people have issues, difficulty getting up and coming to the front, like with, walkers or canes or whatever it is, and it's not that easy to move. That's why we were looking at this new microphone system, so that we have portable microphones and we can actually bring the mic to you if you're sitting in the back of the room and you're not able to come forward. So, and we're also looking at it, it'll be a little bit easier for people to be seen on the camera they'll be able to hear what's being said, and hopefully the mics will be better. So we're looking to improve that. And I think we're also hoping to kind of ultimately get to a Zoom kind of a meeting where, like, if a board member cannot be here, we can actually have it up on the television for them to sit in on the meeting. So
Got to thank Ron for helping us out.
yes, thank you, Ron. We do appreciate it. The other thing I want to mention, though, is the peanut butter and jelly drive. This has been posted on the board. I think there's already something going out in the mail. If you remember, a couple months ago, we had the gal Janelle from Community Cooperative come in, talk about how Pine Ridge can help in the community by taking food donations, and we have been doing that on a couple of occasions already, and apparently doing very well. So April is going to be peanut butter and jelly month, and a lot of this, I think, goes to the situation where kids don't, when they get out of school, they are kind of food deprived. So if you at the store and you want to pick up a couple of extra peanut butter and jellies, we're going to have a box down here for it. It specifies a little bit about, they prefer plastic versus the glass jars, etc. And these flyers are on the board down there if you want to, take a look at them and get a little bit more information on them. Okay, but thanks again to Leah Nesbitt, who is kind of coordinating with Community Cooperative on this. So we appreciate that too. That leads me to all the volunteers. I'm telling you, we have such great people in this community. Every time I turn around, somebody is volunteering to do something. And that's why we are who we are. That's what makes us what we are as a community. And I think it's fantastic. So if you feel like you're unappreciated and nobody has said thank you to you, thank you. From the board, from all of us, from everybody else in the community, really, we appreciate it. And sometimes we may not say thank you, but don't think that it's going unnoticed. I mean, I'll look at the guys out there on their hands and knees painting, the white on the coping and everything else around in the landscaping and everything. It's fantastic. So we have great people in this community, and I appreciate that. It also helps us to hold down our expenses by not having to pay somebody else to do that. And it brings a sense of more ownership and community for all of us. We all take a little responsibility for where we live and what's going on. And I think even as some of these committees start getting together and they talk a little bit more about ways that more of us can help in getting involved, I hope people will also continue to step up for that. The other thing, that I wanted to bring up is last month, Laura Doherty brought to the table a question about the painting of the framing for the lanais. We have looked at the condo docs and have determined that while the docs indicate the ownership of the lanais is the individual, we thought for the uniformity of the community, keeping the condos particularly uniform with the way they look from the external, as well as safety, because it's an accessibility, because if you're on the third floor, we're not looking for you to go out and climb on a ladder and paint the outside of your frame. So we are looking at getting some pricing so that when the buildings are painted, that getting those frames painted at that time would be included. So that doesn't mean somebody's going to come put a work order in and say, my frame needs to be painted this, it's looking real sad. It would be included at the time frame when those buildings are painted, and Eric knows what that schedule is, but he's got to get some pricing on it because it's going to be additional costs. And yeah, we have to supplement the reserves in order to make that happen.
But overall, it could protect or preserve the property value.
Right.
Because
it will look much better, and the uniformity is really important, particularly with the condos. And then finally, and I'm going to be very brief on this, there's been a lot of talk in the community about some issues going on down in Saleview. I just want you to know that we are well aware of them. Management is working on it, and it is being addressed to the I want to say the fullest extent of everything that we can do at
Much
this point.
authority as we have.
Exactly, as much authority as we have, and it's not being overlooked. So can't discuss it, we're not going to discuss it any further than that, but I just wanted you to know, because a lot of people have been saying a lot of things about it, so it's not going unnoticed, okay? I think that's all that I have. Thank you. All right, we've got some of the chairman's report, the treasurer's reports. You want to read in Bill's absence?
Bill's not here, but he wrote that he apologizes for not being here and that he has asked me to read his report in his absence. Our treasury remains stable, and so far for 2025, mostly all of our expenses have been in line with what we projected in our budget. This month, we had some unanticipated pool repairs, and next month, we will have some fire alarm work needed. The pool pump and motor won't affect our operating budget as we have money in our reserve funds for this. The fire alarm repairs will be able to be paid, some from reserves, but some may also need to be operating. And Eric is finalizing the scope of work. And once we have that, the correct determination will be made. Last month, I said that I would present an update to the community regarding the number of delinquent accounts we have and the status of these accounts. Currently, the association has 10 accounts who are behind at least one quarter. To break this out, the 10 accounts consist of 2 that have agreed to a plan for payment with management, 2 that are in the pre-lien process, and the remaining 6 are currently in the collection process with the attorney. Putting this into perspective, 10 units out of 462 that the community has is around 2% of the community. This means 98% of the community is doing their part and paying their assessment. Understanding that 100% is an elusive number to get, 2% delinquency rate is pretty low. I mean, 1% would be better, but so I think we're lucky to have a low percentage rate. Bill adds here, please understand though that every unit, if it's behind on their fees, we do collect the amount owed in full in almost every scenario. Depending on the circumstance, sometimes it takes longer to collect for some units than others, but we are very proactive in this endeavor. And I'll just add to that, just so you know, when people fall behind on their fees, the condo fees run with the property. So it doesn't matter how far behind you fall, the next person who buys it is going to be responsible for those fees. The only exception to that is if a bank forecloses on a mortgage, they have a safe harbor. So we always try to make sure that that bank safe harbor doesn't come into play. But, you know, in almost every case, we're able to collect the fees. And I think Bill wanted to impress that.
Thank you, Bill.
My Kentucky accent, I'll be able to get back soon.
I know, right? I would just add this one thing. When we saw the attorneys at the certification, you know, for directors and everything else, when they get to talking about fees that are behind, they actually name the people that are behind. And we said, well, is that actually legal? I mean, can you really do that to expose someone like that? And they said, if you don't want your name mentioned, pay your fees. So I'm glad that all we do is put out numbers, but if you've not paid your fees, pay your fees. All right, let's look at some treasury report, committee reports rather. God, I am like upside down here. Brian, you have some reports on your website committee, and I don't know, safety too?
Safety, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure how or when or why, but in the organization, we had a website and safety committee kind of combined, but I split it up. I didn't think the two were too related. And we had a meeting last week, and thank you for the attendees who came to participate and discuss. So this report will be broken up into two halves. First of all, the safety committee. Yes, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people attending to assist. And we talked about pedestrian traffic out near the gates in the morning, and particularly early mornings, and discussed the advisability of pedestrian and bicycle traffic out front. I know there's a beautiful walkway between the end of Orange River and all the way up to the Publix Shores Shopping Center, and a lot of people might like to take it, but it is very dangerous from the gate out to Route 80. There possibly might be some things we can look at in the future to make it a little more accessible. At this point, not recommending that people walk or bike out there, but in terms of access to exiting the property and getting back in, we discussed some options, and we'll come up with some other plans for the future. If anybody is having an issue with that, please bring it to our attention so we can go in the right direction. We talked about speeding traffic. Some people are concerned about the speed of vehicles up and down Lakeside and on Sailview, and we discussed the possibility of what we can do to minimize that issue, and we'll be coming forth with some more suggestions. We agreed that the safety committee would meet regularly Tuesdays, the second Tuesday of each month at 11 o'clock, and anyone who feels an interest or would like to attend is welcome. A couple of people have volunteered to, on a regular basis, well, irregular basis rather, not a specific time and date, but to, with the loan from Eric of some of the community, a golf cart, to travel the community and look for possible safety issues, pavement, sidewalks, lights, anything that may become a safety hazard. So we intend to do that. That's the end of the safety committee report.
I'm sorry, before you move on to it, does any of the directors have any comments or anything to make to Brian with regard to the safety? I mean, anything?
May I just ask, when you had the landscape meeting, will you be discussing the opposite side of the lake?
Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
In terms of the website committee, we had a suggestion made to have a sign up online available for some of the events and things that are going on in the park, particularly social committee events, to be able to go online and register to show your attendance instead of having to come to the clubhouse to sign a sheet. You'd be able to do it from your home. We'll investigate that through the website provider to see if it's maybe possible. Suggestion was made to resume the printing of a monthly newsletter, or a regular newsletter, let's say. And there is a ability to do that through our current website provider. If we can come up with a volunteer to coordinate it and they have a format, and it's a matter of uploading information and to our website to get it printed. If we can get a volunteer to coordinate a website, we could establish that, or reestablish, I guess, before my time, but I guess we used to have a newsletter.
Turtle Express.
Paper.
We need to update and replace some of the photographs that are on the current website. Some of them are pretty old, and but the photographs of residents and events, I'm working with the website provider to try to figure out and coordinate some way to do it. I know the social committee has a lot of photographs available. We're just trying to figure out how to get them uploaded onto the website. There was another suggestion about the survey function that currently we have on the website. When questions come up or potential projects or decisions need to be made, the ability is in our current website provider to establish a survey. And I guess it's been done in the past, but the results of the surveys were never published. So we're looking into that. The social committee would like to have their own dedicated page somehow, so that people can look at events and things that are going on. We'll be discussing that. And it was also suggested that training be offered for new Front Steps people. How many people here are registered with Front Steps on the website? Let's do it this way. How many are not? Okay, very few. They're currently on the website. We show about 130 people who are not registered on the website. And I have to go through and look and see who that is and why that is, and do some more research, but we'll figure that out. We have noted in the past that there is some confusion because the old website is still out there, so that if you mention to a friend that you live in Pine Ridge and they do a search on Google, it's going to take them to the old website.
Check if when I updated it, did it work? Did we check
Pardon?
that? We gotta check when I updated it, it might work. It might
You
work.
updated it?
Yeah, I wonder if it will be the normal. It said it was gonna take a few days to.
Okay.
So I have to check.
All right, so we're trying to eliminate that issue.
Google will be better.
Also, it was brought to my attention that there's a lot of classified ads on the website that may be out of date, or items are already sold, they're no longer available, and people aren't maintaining them. And if you know of anybody that uses the classified ad section and they're whatever ware they're selling is gone, or whatever rental or whatever is taken care of, please ask them to delete their ads. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board for Brian on the website issue, website report? Okay, this has to go down to Andy. All right, then we will move on to, old business. Oh, he's not one? Okay, sure. We'll move on to, did you have something, Sharon?
Yeah, I can. I just want to say that we've scheduled a meeting for March 21st, which is Friday at 2:00 in the afternoon. I've been trying to talk to as many of we have a lot of people that are out there working, as Michelle said, and I want to touch base with all of them, and I have seen some of them, but not all of them, so that I can get some ideas from them, and I would really like them to be part of that whole thing when we start to take a look at landscaping, what the landscaping committee can do. And I think that we still, I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of work that they do now, but I think if we all kind of get behind it, that we can all, I've got some ideas, and I'm sure that a lot of you have ideas about how we can increase our volunteerism as far as landscaping concerns, and to keep our costs down. I do know I've been about sprinkler issues, and I know those are being addressed. Fertilization, I've talked to a couple of people, we need to, and I'll be talking to Eric about that. And then the other side of the lake, and if you walk on that side of the lake, most of it is filled in. You have the sidewalk and then along the fence, and most of it's filled in with a lot of brush. And I know that Florida Power and Light has cut some of it because you need to keep it off the power lines and cut it back, but there's a couple of holes there that it would make easy access. So I'm going to be touching base with a couple of my friends this week that to try to get them to figure out what kind of bushes that we can put in there. And I'm hoping, that we can plant some things. We just have to all remember, you can't just start ripping out stuff and putting up in anything. We need to keep in mind that we have certain plants in this community that do belong in this part of Florida, and that we don't want to just put anything in. And so if you have something that you haven't seen already in the development, you need to check in with Eric or give me a call, and I'll try to check in on it with some people, because I know Skip, he's a wonderful access to plants that we have. So, and start to build some kind of coalition. So I hope to see some of you there on Friday at 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Deb, you wanted to just give an update on the community liaison?
Yes, I just wanted to let everybody know that people have been reaching out, and it's been very helpful. Some people have sent me information about programs that they thought might be beneficial for us, and we are exploring those, in addition to which even things with some conflict resolution between neighbors and those kinds of things. I just want to officially give my email so that if people want to contact me, it makes it easier and more accessible to them. It is debbiekiden1@gmail.com. Thank you.
And it is also listed on the website, because all of our phone numbers and emails as the board are listed on the website too. Yes, and posted back there. All right, thank you. Andy, now.
Thank you, ma'am. I am excited to report to the community that the Comcast will be starting construction on the new fiber optic infrastructure through the community and directly into each unit. Last week, Eric, Brian, and I met with our team that will be working with during this construction process. The team is expected to start as soon as tomorrow, bringing the fiber into the community. We currently are planning on meeting with the construction team weekly to keep up to date with progress and make sure that all parties are on the same page. The construction team does their best to avoid problems, but also fully anticipates hitting various lines such as water, irrigation, cable, and other underground utilities. They have assured us that their on-site crews have everything that they need to make almost all the repairs in these situations. If an issue arises that is too much for them to repair, they have trades on call ready to come in and repair those. So the community has some knowledge of the progress and schedule as we move through the project. We have hung up here on the wall, right over here, a map of the network that will be installed. We want to have the Xfinity manager mark on this as they progress and schedule sections of the community. This technology is really going to be a big upgrade for the community as technology keeps advancing in the future. The project should take between 4 and 6 months to complete. So we are looking at a summer of 2025 completion date. I will keep you updated on progress as much as needed. If there is any important information to share, I will be sure to relay it to you. I gave the representative from Comcast a list of questions I had, and he is working on getting answers to those back to us. As the installation progresses, we will have representatives from Comcast into meetings to address the community directly and minimize any confusion as switch over to our new state-of-the-art fiber optic infrastructure.
Great. We're excited. Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Anybody have questions for Andy
Um,
on the microphone? If you have a question.
Yeah, Andy, as we go along and the updates that you're going to get from Comcast, will you continue to have fiber optic meetings so that, people can hear, so that we can hear for ourselves?
Yeah.
There it
We're gonna have a construction meeting every week, and then anything material that changes, we'll be sending out emails, or if we need to schedule meetings for people to come in and ask questions, we'll do that. My takeaway from the meeting that we had with the team from Comcast and the team on the construction side that we have working with us, they seem very competent, and I'm very confident that they're gonna be able to do a good job. So it should be pretty seamless. This first part is mostly outside, but everybody will need to have an appointment in the end to have it hooked into their house. And once the fiber is installed, that's when, I know there's been a lot of question about the wireless part of the technology. That's when everything's gonna be wireless. You're no longer gonna be hooked into the wall for your cable. It's gonna all be picked up through that router.
I think that wireless stuff is what we're all coming to, isn't it?
May I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
We have a good number of seasonal people. If access is needed to the units, is there a proposal as to how this could be accomplished for people that are not currently in their residence when that
Yeah,
happens?
it's gonna be the old fashioned way. It's gonna be Eric or Bruce taking them in, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
That being said, you need to make sure if you're seasonal that Eric or Bruce have access to your place. If you have a code, they need the code. If you have a key, they need a copy of the key. Back in the old days, that's what we did. We always had to hand you a key, but a lot of people have codes and everything else now. So this is on record. If you've got a code or a key, you need to make sure they have a copy of it in the office if you're seasonal. All right, I don't have anything else, but does anybody else have anything to come before the board? Then we will go to our open forum. And I know Barb with the social club has something she can bring up and bring some information to us, so. Anybody else?
Barb, do you want my address and everything too?
Sure.
or no?
Well, you're the head of the
Okay.
social club, so.
I just want to say that this year I have found that we have had so many people willing to step up and help out. And we had 214 people at Pine Ridge Day, very successful. And then we had St. Patrick's Day, where we got 114 people in this community room. And everybody had a wonderful, wonderful time.
Collected almost 500 pounds of food.
Yes, we collected 480 pounds of food,
Yeah.
which brings me to the next topic. I have requested that for Easter, since the peanut butter and jelly doesn't have to be in till the end of April, that if people are coming, bring a jar of peanut butter or a jar of jelly, and we'll distribute that to the food cooperative.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So we're going to try to do that more often because we are keeping costs down on events. And we thought that would be a great way for the community to give back.
Yeah.
Also to add, we are having, to add to what you said about volunteers, on Saturday, we are having an ice cream social appreciation to everyone in the community. Everyone's welcome, but basically to celebrate all the people that have helped within the community. And thanks to Dwayne, who has made 10 gallons of homemade ice cream, we will be having ice cream Sundays. So, and now this is on a different topic. People have approached me and asked me, why can't I get on front steps if I'm a renter and I rent year round? I think we're missing something there. These people are living here. Yes, they're not, somebody else is paying the HOA fee, but they want to be informed, they want to be involved. And is there a way we can get them on front steps?
Yes.
Okay.
You give me the information, I can put their information onto the system.
I think we need to put it out there because I know of a few, but I assure you there's more because there's many rentals in here. And some are yearly and some are only for a 3-month period. But people should be able to know what's going on here.
The renters as well as the owners, in order to get access to the system, have to register. So they basically log on to the system with their email address and set up a password. Once they're in there, they're registered as either an owner, a tenant, a manager, administrator, or whatever the category.
One thing we talked about was coming up with like a flyer that we can give to new people when they come in.
Well, and
Some
you
people are
also
gonna do it,
mentioned something
and
about
other people
having
may not do it, but
having people come in and be able to have somebody show them how to do it.
Yes,
Because
I'm
there's a
going
lot
to,
of people that have no
I'm
clue.
going to put out a notice. I'm not going to establish a date and time. I'm going to send out a notice to the community that if anyone would like assistance, to contact me. And once I figure out how many people and whatever, I'll try to get some schedule to meet with them, and either in a group or individually to get that done.
And just a couple more things. Pool party is on the 8th of April. That's like
Fifth.
5th?
On Saturday, right?
Saturday, yep. The 5th of April, excuse me. And it's our last major event with everybody here. And then we're having Easter Sunday potluck. The forms are signups. We need lots of help. We need people to bring certain items. And we're going to play trivia and have a little story about Easter, about the Easter Bunny. So, thank you.
Thank you. Can I clarify one thing with you, Brian? You're saying that when people register on Front Steps, there's a certain way they can register, either that gives them maybe different access. If you were an owner, you would have access to certain documents that maybe a renter would not have, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, have we been doing that now?
No.
Probably not.
Okay, the consensus out there is no. Okay.
Renters can't log in.
Right, I knew that the renters couldn't get on, but I thought because we just didn't register them, but I didn't know there was actually a way to specify who has access to what information.
Yeah, the way the system is set up, if you look at the various tabs that you can go to, it will state access open or owner only, one or the other. The open status is basically for the communications, the directory, things that tenants or renters could access. So if they register and they're registered as a tenant, they only have access to the community communication functions.
Okay, thank you. All right, we got somebody else that's speaking?
Jim and Ray Stevens.
Jim and Ray Stevens?
Hi, I'm Ray Stevens, 9970 Sailview Court. Just have a couple issues I'm questioning. I know the fence was done and it looks wonderful down Sailview, but there's been old fencing right at the end. If you see it sitting in the bushes.
Yeah. So those fence panels, we're gonna reuse those elsewhere in the community, so I didn't want them to throw them away. And we just haven't had a chance to move them yet, so don't worry, yeah, they'll be moved.
And also, I've spoken to Bruce a couple times last year, the year before. There is either, I don't know if it's mulch or potting soil or what it is, but there's 5 or 6 unopened bags that have been in the bushes
Yeah,
over in
I
Sailview.
saw that. We're gonna find out what it is too. I asked Bruce about it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Right, Eric, that was it? All right. Did you sign up, Mr.
Didn't sign
Durkin?
up. I was very quiet.
All right. This better be good and important.
This is very personal. Pat Durkin, 4642 Blackberry. This is about the fiber optics. That went by real fast. I didn't get all of it. When they connect us, is it going to be seamless to our modem then, and then we can go, or you have to come inside the house and hook things up? And if you don't get it hooked up, do you still remain on cable for a while?
So what's gonna happen is, they're gonna install the network in the whole community before they start hooking people up, right? Then they're gonna go through and hook people up. Now, as they get to 80% penetration, 75, 80% penetration, and almost everybody's hooked up, they're gonna be sending letters, they're gonna be calling, we're gonna be sending emails. You better switch over, and it's gonna become more frequent as it gets to 85 and 90%. And then once it gets to 95% of the people that have switched over to the fiber network, the old physical plant will be shut down. And then you won't have cable. So if you're still on the coax line at that time, it will be shut down and you won't have cable. And at that time, those 5% of people will probably call. But that's the way they communicated to us. It's very difficult to get 100%, but they make every attempt to get to that, and then 95, 96%, then they're gonna cut it. So as far as ours, 440 people, as soon as they're switched over, that's when the network will be cut.
You may want to explain.
Yeah, can I, before?
Andy, you may want to explain, I think, to answer your original question. As I understand it from our meeting, Andy, and correct me if I'm wrong, the original insert, there'll be in every unit, there'll be a little black box mounted on the wall.
Interior wall?
Interior.
Yeah.
They'll come in, drill a hole, put a box on the interior wall. That box will have to be corded to your modem.
Right.
Always.
It'll go, the
Yes.
fiber goes into the black box, and the black box goes into the modem,
And then that's,
and then everything in your house is wireless.
my main concern was, all the Wi-Fi wireless stuff we have, thermostats, cameras and everything. Is that gonna go out on me at any point?
Your passwords will remain the same. Everything it'll be ported right over. So
And when
seamless, that's the exact word, exact.
when you switch over to, when you have the installer come to hook your fiber in, make sure all that stuff works and don't let him leave until he sets it all up.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm in Chicago and I'm getting no readings on my air conditioning.
Our hope is that it's gonna be fine, yeah. for him,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's hope.
Get a neighbor, Patrick.
I believe, I could be wrong, but did they say they are going to provide a new modem for everyone?
Yes.
So you will have to establish a new password for your modem.
No, it's gonna be the same.
Oh, it will carry over? Okay, but you will get a new modem.
Everything is going to be new from the wall in,
And,
all new.
and Patrick, so we have it set up where there's a year period of time for them to switch, for you to switch over. So most likely the old plant will stay on and all your stuff will stay on until you're back down here and you call and switch it over. So even if it went out.
Okay, so that's made me ask the question. So remember we all had to sign up and then they came in and they put a new modem in and they put new boxes in. So we'll have to do that again, then we'll get.
Well, some of the people have said that they didn't get the correct modem for the fiber optics. Some people did, so you may or may not need a new modem. There's an XB7. Right now, we're working with like the main hardware guy from Comcast, so he's gonna make sure that we get that part straightened out. Because it seems like the initial rollout, they didn't really need to come and put new equipment in people's houses, I don't think, the first time, but they did it to make it seem like we're getting something, I guess.
You'll have the XB7.
Anybody else have anything? Did you sign up, sir?
No, but.
Well, I let Durkin go, so I'll let one more go, but we're not doing this. If you want to speak, I'm asking that you sign up.
The Manning for 701 Department 9. You're just bringing up all this Comcast stuff now, so I knew about it before I would ask the question. It sounds like you're expecting us to be here for when all that happens. You know,
Not
for all the
necessarily.
snowflake people, you know.
If you leave your key
No,
there.
we may have to enter your unit though, so they can just,
Unescorted,
it would be me or Bruce,
you're gonna be in there with them,
or Bruce, one of the two of us.
because I don't want just the technicians running around.
Yeah, and I know people don't want just anybody in there, but hopefully everybody trusts Bruce and I, and we can take care of it for you.
I just want to make sure, do you have a timeline for when this is supposed to occur?
Not yet.
No, but we're working, every week we're meeting and we're developing the schedule. The reason why we hung the map on the board is because I want the manager to come in and kind of, as he goes, mark up when he's going to be in this area, and people can kind of stay up to date on progress via that. I know not everybody's going to be here the whole time. However, them starting soon and you seeing some of it in April, hopefully that'll be a good thing.
Well, if we had a timeline, we would have an idea of when we need to be here, if we can be here.
Can you speak into the mic? I can't even hear you. Thank you.
We would have an idea of when to be here. You know, I don't go home till May.
Yeah,
So if that stuff's being done, I will be here for it. If
Right.
it's not, then I would know about it. That's why I
Right.
asked for a time.
yes, so we're just starting this project, but as soon as we have a schedule, we'll show it to you. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. All right, I will entertain a motion to dismiss.
Motion to
Deb?
dismiss.
All right, Sharon, all right, and it passes, let's go. Yes, Sharon.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
They can't hear me.
Sounds a lot better.
How are you?
Wow. I can't make it notice. That's Blackbird. That's Windsor Circle. Yeah, that's Windsor Circle.
Yeah.
That's Blackberry.
This is Orange River here.
That's Sailview. You can forget about Sailview.
Bring the fiber from here down to here, this is like the main road. And then
Where's that?
along the fence going out on the side.
Okay.
And then they're gonna feed all these single families and duplexes here.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're gonna move over to the row houses. And then they're gonna, what they'll do is they'll drill, so they'll run the cord on the building, and then put like a plastic molding over top, and then drill the where